Hello again. This is Taz, Trans Japan. I'm sorry I look kind of busted. I've just got back from recording with my friend. We've been writing music all day. Um, uh, and it's rather hot here in Kanto today. 33 degrees, and the humidity is unpleasant to say the least. So, I wanted to make a video um, about anxiety of going out, being trans. This is not specifically related to Japan, but most of my trans experience has been living in Japan. So um, I'll be going from that perspective. Before that, I'd like to thank anybody who watched my last video. There weren't many of you, and I don't know if you'll see this. But if you do, I really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Um, it means a lot to me. Okay, so on to what I would like to talk about. Um, Anxiety and going out as a trans person. So the first part of anxiety starts from the starts from when you get ready, basically, from doing your hair and your makeup, which can be fun, um, to choosing what you want to wear, all of those kind of things. They they can also bring a lot of anxiety. For me, I have certain aspects about my body and my appearance that I really don't like, that I um, try to minimize or hide as much as possible. So even though you're enjoying getting ready, you're getting ready to be yourself and be happy, um, there are little battles with dysphoria, which really sucks. If you don't have this, it's really hard to explain what it feels like, but it's it's can be extreme and it can be unpleasant, and it can be very distressing, to just not feel like you're the person who you're supposed to be or look the way you're supposed to look. It can be really unfair sometimes, but it's life. Um, you get used to it, kind of thing, in some ways. Second thing I'd like to talk about, second part of this is the second major anxiety, um, is actually deciding which way to go. So you get ready, you go through all that anxiety, you're already on edge, and I'm not fully out, so I have to be really careful about where I want to go and how I want to get there, because there's a lot of conversations that I'm trying to have but haven't had yet. So I'm very concerned and very conscious about running into co-workers or people that know me as a boy and being in the situation where I might have to explain myself. Um, Now, I don't really necessarily have an issue with that. It's more being in the situation where I feel obliged or forced to explain something that really isn't anybody else's business. And if I want to talk about it with you, I will do it in my own time. Um, but that's a major anxiety. So I can't just walk through the city and go and get the train. I have to take a kind of indirect route where I take another train, local train to the city, and then transfer to the main train to go to places that I want to go, because uh, it runs less of a risk of coming across people who know me. Then there's the anxiety, just going shopping or going to visit people, being out in public there's still a chance you might run into people. So there's an anxiety to do is, now I have to be prepared to run into somebody, and that's a little unpleasant. Um, yeah. The other major one that I have, um, and this is bothering me less recently, but at times still does affect me, is when people stare. And I'm not talking about when you walk past somebody and they're like, oh, that girl's rather tall, a little bit masculine. Are they male or female? Like that's one thing, and that can be unpleasant. But it's when people gawk. And I had an example of this today. I came down the stairs to the platform at the train station, and there was this young lady talking to her friend, and she was staring at me. I mean, it was quite obvious. She had big wide eyes, like, oh my god, there's a trans person. What witchcraft or devilry is this? And her gaze actually followed me all the way down the platform as I walked past her. And normally I wouldn't react to this in any way. I would just kind of keep to myself, try and minimize who I am, try and take up less space, those kind of things, which is, by the way, part of living in Japan. It's not just me dealing with being trans and being exposed. It's, in Japan, you don't bother people and they don't bother you. But in this case, as I walked past, I shook my head and was like, made a very obvious sigh. Because don't do that. Please don't do that. It's not nice. It's very rude. If you're not trans and you see a trans person, please don't stare at us. We're already dealing with so much. We don't need to feel like a chimpanzee in a zoo. And you might be of the opinion that, well, if you don't want to feel like a chimpanzee in a zoo, don't make yourself obvious, or don't wear clothes of the opposite sex, or whatever your opinion is. But that's really ignorant. Until you've felt like we feel, until you've gone through what we feel about our bodies and how we present and how we have to live our lives, asking us to go back in the closet so you don't have to deal with us, or so we don't have to feel like a TV dinner, is rather insensitive and rather ignorant. So just don't stare. I don't mind if you look and go, oh, okay, wasn't expecting that today. It's fine. I know I stand out. I know I'm not passing 100%, but this is my life. Like most trans people, I just want to go from A to B. I want to do this. I want to do the things I need to do to survive. Go to work, live, go shopping, and just live a quiet, happy life. I'm not looking for attention. Most trans people are not looking for attention. I can't speak for all of us, but I'm pretty sure 90% of us don't appreciate being stared at. It's just rude, to be honest with you. But rant over. I don't really want to be too negative, because overall, living in Japan is pretty good for a trans person. Most Japanese people don't notice you, or if they do, they don't care. And I've had some wonderful experiences, which I will talk about next time. with Japanese people as well. Like, most Japanese people don't care. Um, you might have read or heard things, but that's largely government and it's partly cultural. But we can talk about that another day. In my day-to-day experience, most people really don't care. They're not bothered. They're too busy with their own lives. And even if they do notice, most of them either don't look or don't spend more than like 33 seconds looking at you. So if you are trans and you're considering coming to Japan, don't be afraid to do so. I mean, you're still going to have all the same anxieties you do anyway, but one thing you can be sure of that is that you're going to be safe for the most part. As long as you're sensible and take the same precautions you would anywhere, you don't have to worry about harassment. You don't have to worry about those kind of things. So my experience of being stared at is pretty minor. I know that, but I just wanted to express that today. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to let you go off and do the things that you need to do with your life. And I want to say thank you very much again and take care. Ima, mae ni zuto.